We are on the Edge of Eternity to infinity and beyond! Hi guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we talk and discuss all things Pauper. I am your host, Teasdale, and this is my co-host, the armoured armadillo himself, Reese.
Hello.
That was a mouthful. Before we start, do not forget to support us by giving us 5 stars on Spotify. Also, don't forget to follow us at Casting Commons 1 on Twitter. And of course, join our Discord to submit hot takes, be part of giveaways, and talk to us about the greatest format of all time. Pauper, of course. So, Edge of Eternities? Is that what it's called? It's here. It's not here. It's fully spoiled.
It's here this weekend, pre-release, right?
Yeah, pre-release this weekend. 1st of August is the full release, right? I believe. The set looks pretty sweet.
It looks stacked. But maybe not like game-changing playables, but there's a lot of like, this could be really good, this could be really good, sort of everywhere. And I definitely think there's going to be some impact of some of these cards for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Some of them seem obviously pretty good, like, as in, they could definitely be built around, like, potentially experimental synthesizer level. Some could be just, as you say, potentially slot into a deck, make a deck just slightly better. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It is definitely sweet. So, for our sort of thought of the week, obviously, Edge of Eternities is definitely out. So we're going to actually do a top 5, not like my top 5 where I have 17 million honorable mentions in the background. But we're going to actually look at 5 cards. Reese picked 2, I picked 2, and then we've sort of like agreed on one, which all seem pretty good.
I think it's worth adding to that your top 5 for this set as well was even less of a top 5 because there was that much. You basically just did a set review rather than a top 5.
Yeah, so I usually, how I do my top 5s, I sort of like, I go through Scryfall on one screen, have a notepad on the other screen, or like a notepad in front of us, and I'll reread each card as I'm going through, and then I'll write cards that I think are like sort of okay, and then when I've wrote them down, and then look at then each individual card, and then I'm like, actually, I've read that and thought about it a bit, that's actually quite bad, and I'll cross it off or whatever, and then I'll get to an amount, usually it's about 9, and then I'll have 4 honourable mentions that I think are cool to talk about, and then like an actual top 5. But I just couldn't get it down. I looked at my list, and my list was like this big on a notepad. I was like, I can't even get this down. I was like, I'll just do a whole set review of talk about like interesting cards, and I still think I've missed some as well. So pretty sweet to see that obviously there's that much of potential playability for sure. I guess I would like to start before obviously we start diving into 5. In case you have missed it, I will link the article in the description below. Diplomatic Relations is a green fight spell. It reads that it basically target creature. I'll pull the card up. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains vigilance until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. It's 2 and a green and an instant and a common. This card basically meant that you could murder something in green. You didn't have to target your creature like normal fight spells do. You could literally target their creature and it could murder itself and all that sort of stuff. That has been errated to, as you probably expect, as you do intend, that its target creature you control gets +1/+1 vigilance, and then it deals its damage to target creature opponent controls. Just in case we were unclear about that one.
Yeah, so we've got Errata before the set's even released.
Yep.
Good old quality control being stretched, because there's not just this card, but there's, I believe, a rare with misspelt or miswritten flavor text, so it says the and then the in like one after the other. And then is there another rare? I think it was a rare that has a legendary border, but is just a normal creature. So there's definitely a lot slipping through the cracks of their quality control at the moment.
Very much so. But, more importantly, on to the not the only interesting card, as I say, there's a lot more of these than just these, but these are obviously ones that we want to highlight. So if you want to take your first one away.
Yeah, so my first pick was probably one of the first cards that I had sent to you that I was super hyped about, which is Lux Knight Breacher. It's 3 and a white for a creature, human knight, and it's a 2/2. But it enters with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other creature and or artifact you control. Obviously, as soon as you see enters with a +1/+1 counter for each artifact, you think affinity. That's sort of the initial place I guess this can fit. Obviously, if you're playing it on turn 4, you've got 4 artifact lands, so it's already a 6/6. You've probably got a blood fountain and a blood token, so it's an 8/8. And then if you've got anything on top of that, a Wellspring, it's a 9/9. A Manaforge, it's a 10/10 for 4 mana. Obviously, biggest downside, it doesn't have evasion. It is just a massive like abyss on a stick. But for the deck that plays Manaforge, which also doesn't have evasion and just you beat with, it's sort of maybe an interesting option, maybe a reason for the artifact deck to go white again, since all the glitters no longer is with us. But the other place I thought it would be really good as well is White Weenie. Being a 2/2, it can be grabbed off Bugler, which is pretty sick. But also White Weenie now plays 8 Thraben Inspectors, which make artifacts, which also buff it. So if you're like, there was a quite a nice line of play that I was sort of describing to you, where if you play turn 1 Thraben Inspector, turn 2 Rafine's Informant and bin something like Battle Screech. Turn 3 you can play a Bugler, get this, and flash back your Battle Screech. And then turn 4 you play this, and it's basically just huge. It's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 8 on 4 in White Weenie, and that's if you don't play stuff like Ancient Den. Or more Thraben Inspectors in that sort of sequence. So
there's also
interesting.
There's a couple of interesting things that I like about this as well. Is not only that, but the sort of been like, I messed around with like a white sub theme in White Weenie already. That went really heavy on the theme, but even taking that back and like just having good statted white creatures is also good. Like the Metalcraft, the Ardent dude,
Ardent Recruit.
You've got Cartomunculus, you've got the new Magitech Inventory, all decent-ish. You've got Springleaf Drum, which has always been on the borderline cusp in Boros and Boros and White Weenie. But then, as you say, you can not only pick this up off Bugler, and it enters with as well. It's not like a trigger, so it avoids like Bolt and Galv Blast for the most part as well, which is really like pretty relevant. And 4's not out the question for White Weenie. Like, they already cast Battle Screech. I think this card's a lot better than people are giving credit for, I think. And especially with, as you say, I mainly see this in something like White Weenie, to be fair, and it seems like not the worst, as you say. An Abyss on a stick, or just going wide as well as going tall, is nothing to scoff at, for sure.
I think as well, it sort of plays into the meta that we've got at the moment, where stuff like Snuff Out is at a pretty low point. So that like there isn't really that much hard removal getting played. Like outside of the black decks, it's like, well, it's basically unremovable. You play it against Madness on 4, and they're like, right, I literally need to just kill you now because I'm gonna die. I can't chump it. I can chump it once with my Snacker, and then my Snacker's tapped, and then I'm gonna take 10. Especially if you're attacking with other stuff as well. It is a really, really fast clock.
But I also think, though, against a deck like White Weenie, for example, if you are gonna have this go wide strategy as well as go tall, if they're at the point where they're keeping in Snuff Out and Cast Down and things like to do single point to deal with this, just have the go wide strategy. They can't like efficiently answer both. So it's not. I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty interesting one for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's sort of something we haven't really had, like just a reasonably statted massive guy in a deck that's not Mono Blue Terror.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else to add on Lux Knight Breacher? I was going to call it Breaker.
No, I'm happy to go for your pick.
So my next pick is Temporal Intervention, which is a 2 and a black sorcery with Void. And the Void says, this spell costs 2 less to cast if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped this turn. And the actual text on the card says target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. So it's essentially a Thoughtseize-esque style effect like Pilfer, etc., which we have seen before in Pauper. But this is 3 mana on the get-go, but it has the potential to cost 1 if something does happen. And I think that basically in black-based decks already, they're running things like Deadly Dispute effects, Fanatical Offering, Eviscerator's Insight, etc. They're also, as we mentioned before, they're running heavy removal spells too. And I don't think this is too far out of the question to be cast for 1. And it also makes a deck that, like the black-based decks that are very heavy on 2s because they want to play Wellspring and then they want to play all the Insight effects, is that turn 3 after you've played that Lembus or the Wellspring, you're kind of left with 1 mana floating, or, you know, like, you end up playing a tap land or whatever because of that. This is probably where that would see play. Obviously, it is on turn 3, but you are also still doing things while also Thoughtseizing them. I think that the interesting thing about it is, obviously, if you want... Obviously, we only really got Duress to compete with this, I think. Because Pilfer costs too much, costing 2 is like the awkward
there's
thing.
Despise, depending on the meta, is one that's seen quite a bit of play.
But I think the big thing about this is, like, this is probably, like, obviously hitting everything is main deckable a lot more of the time. Like, obviously Duress is main deckable at the moment, but I could see this replacing the main deck slot for Duress pretty in those black based decks.
It's definitely one that looks like it's verging on the more powerful side, as you say. Like, it's if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, it's not a non-land permanent you control, so you can like cast down something and then cast it if you want to do it at sorcery speed. I definitely think if Deadly Dispute was still legal, like, this would just be a no-brainer. It would just immediately go into every black deck. Because obviously the dispute triggers it and the treasures trigger it as well. And I guess it's sort of notable that there are some warp cards in this set as well that look like they could be pretty playable, so that's not nothing as well. Yeah, it's definitely a strong card. It'll be, I guess, dependent really on how good hand disruption is and how reliably you can trigger this. Like, if Duress is getting cut from main decks, you're probably not really wanting to upgrade it to this, but if you're playing Duress a lot more and can trigger this, it's sort of seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, right? Because there's obviously at the moment there's quite a few decks dotting around where you want to hit more non-creature spells, like obviously Spy Walls. You want to hit a lot of the walls in general. You've got obviously fairies that have very little spells in there that you kind of like you would hit, but obviously you want to hit like the ninjas, the spellstutters, etc. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's just the push-pull on that though, because the Spy Walls example, if you want to hit the battlement, but you're probably not gonna cast this in time to hit the battlement. It's not free to cost 1, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I guess makes it more interesting, because if it was basically just like easy, if it was just Thoughtseize, essentially, you would just be like, oh well, it's just gonna absolutely destroy the format.
Yeah, for sure. Or even if it was like Revolt or something. You know, something that obviously triggered off lands, for example.
I guess that's worth mentioning is it is non-land permanent, so you can't like get fetch lands and stuff to activate it, which more for like Legacy, I guess, but obviously pretty relevant in Pauper as well.
Yeah, especially with the landscape seeing quite a bit of play as well.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, definitely an interesting one. It definitely isn't free, but it's in some decks it's quite close where you want it for sure.
Yeah. I think it's powerful enough to work for as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's not free, but it's good enough that you will work for that effect.
And it's quite interesting to me because it shows the difference in power level between that and Pilfer. Like, the difference in 1 mana is huge.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just fit it in.
Yeah, and I don't think that's like an unreasonable line of play as well. Like, if you're sacking your Wellspring on 3 and then just playing this with the extra mana. Means you don't have to discard and stuff like that. Yeah, seems pretty reasonable.
Even play Shambling Ghast again, make treasures.
Yeah.
Do it on 2.
Yeah, true. I wonder. So, like, my initial thought of this is just it goes in like the Gardens-esque shell is where it sort of stands out.
Yeah.
Is there any other decks that you would think this is sort of could be viable in? Maybe like Grixis Affinity or something like that.
Yeah, I think the thing with Grixis Affinity though is that line of play that was talking about on turn 3, where after you've played your Wellspring and stuff, most common times is they do generally just play tap lands. They just run that many.
Yeah.
So like that line of play might get a bit awkward, but it could definitely see play for sure in Grixis Affinity. Like obviously Crackling Shaman triggers it. Like you could it could be a card that you use to stop rebuilding. Like after they've a lot of the time people greed out a Crackling Shaman, for example, like Jund and Grixis, where you can then take that away, like use that earlier, and then just Temporal Intervention and take the card that would refuel them, like a Lead the Stampede or whatever it is that they're playing. But yeah, I think probably the other black bait, like Deadly Dispute style decks, like Jund Wildfire and Grixis are probably the only other two that I can think of straight away. For sure. But yeah, interesting one for sure.
And then my last pick is a red artifact called Melded Moxite. It's 1 red. For an artifact, when it enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. So it's like bit of reunion type effect. And then you can pay 3 and sack it, and you can make a 2/2 tapped guy. So sort of similar to the Samurai, really, off Synth. Yeah, I just think this is like really good value for the Boros Synth decks. You've obviously got Synth. You can get this as well. It does a lot more than Bitter Reunion because it's an artifact and it can just make it a guy late game. Yeah, I think it's just essentially just a lot of value stapled to one red artifact. It's not obviously not as good as Synth. It's not going to replace Synth, but it's sort of verging on being close enough to be playable anyway.
Yeah, being an artifact's big, obviously, for Galv Blast, for Glinthawk as well. Like, Bitter Reunion not being able to return by Glinthawk's obviously pretty big. There is a world that could see this potential. Like, obviously, it depends how thing they are with Madness. Like, obviously, triggers Snacker, like discard draw, similar to Bitter Reunion. But it could mean that Madness could potentially go back to artifact
Galv
packages,
Blast.
to go back to Galv Blast, which is pretty interesting because the card's obviously good value with Snacker for sure. Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. I like the fact as well that the artifact, the 3 sack, I know it creates a tapped guy, but it's also not sorcery like Synth is.
Yeah.
Which is really good. So you can hold up whatever you want, and then you didn't do anything. Okay, I'll sack this. Make doo-doo.
Yeah. Also, with the Boros package in particular, you have access to the flashback spells from Rally the Peasants or Strands, or even Battle Screech if you want to go that sort of deep into it, which could give you a bit of extra value.
You also do get lines of thing as well. Like I'm probably thinking a bit off the wall here. You could actually play a Skyfisher, bounce something that you don't mind discarding that could be value, and then also pitch that as well later on. So you can keep the 2/3. Like you could even play this, then call Skyfisher, bounce a Snacker, play another one, discard a Snacker, draw 2 cards. Oh my god, the value! Look at that. We're cooking.
Yeah, definitely has out.
For sure. It's definitely a strong thing to have on 2, which is definitely a theme. 2 mana artifacts have been pretty good lately in Pauper.
It just seems like there's so much in this set as well that's just playable. Like I'm sat at Scryfall looking at this, and then I'm like, oh, I could have picked that. Oh, I could have picked that. Oh, I could have also picked that. Like just even in the red section. Yeah, it's definitely gonna make some changes to the format, I would say.
Hopefully. I must admit, on a bit of a tangent, the only one that I'm sort of sad about in terms of mechanic, like don't get me wrong, I was fine with Warp, I'm fine with all the Void stuff. One that I was really hyped up for was the Lander token. Like the Wayfarer Bauble making token or whatever it's called. And I was like, really? I was like, oh, I hope this could actually be really good. They'll put slightly overcosted cards, but the Lander token's gonna get there. And I think they made 3 cards with Lander in. I was so gutted.
It's not on a lot of cards, and the cards that it's on is pretty underwhelming cards.
Yep. Pretty sad. But yeah, anyways, Anything else to add to Melded Moxite?
No, I think it's definitely one you should pick up on release while you're scavenging from people's pools.
My last one is definitely a me card, and a card I'm definitely excited for, which is Nutrient Block, which is a 1 mana artifact food. It is indestructible, which I don't think that matters, but it might do, I guess. I guess Kenku. But yeah. And then it's 2 sacrifices artifact, gain 3 life, the food text. But more importantly, it says when this artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So where I'm seeing this is specifically with Cauldron Familiar. Candy Trail has this sort of like tension with Cauldron Familiar, where you obviously, when you play Candy Trail, you get Scry 2, but you sacrifice it, you don't get a draw a card like you do with off the sack ability of Candy Trail. If you sack it to Cauldron Familiar, it just does nothing. You've basically paid 1 mana to Scry 2, which is fine, but you kind of want your card draw to be on enters or when it dies, basically on your food, like your golden eggs, your lembuses, and such. So the fact that this dies and you get a draw a card with Cauldron Familiar, sacking it is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that's the biggest thing this has going for it. Like the Cauldron Familiar decks for the longest time, you just wanted Chromatic Star to be a food.
Yeah.
And this is pretty close to what that is. Yeah, just drawing the card on being put into a graveyard is super big. Even outside of Familiar, you can't really Deadly Dispute affect your Candy Trail very well. You can do it, but you just lose out on a card, where this you just go for it.
Definitely.
And then the food text is somewhat relevant. I don't know how relevant the indestructible text is. Like you said, there's Kenku. It doesn't die. I guess it's like a food that you can always hold up. Like they can't get rid of it to stop your Familiar coming back or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty well costed for what it is.
Yeah, definitely. And for the most part, most cat food decks I've played, I've not played Candy Trail because of that tension. I've often just played the 2 mana ones like Carrot Cake or Golden Egg or Lembus, and then like Heaped Harvest. But this being 1 mana is obviously really good for that.
So we're going to see some Teasdale returns to cat food on the channel soon.
Very, very much so. May play blue for Kenku as well, just for that added value. And then the last one, if you want to take it away.
Yeah. So the final one, which is sort of one we both picked together, is Cryogen Relic. It's 1 in a blue for an artifact, sort of the opposite version to the Moxite that I talked about before. When it enters all leaves, draw a card. So like a Nickel Wellspring. And it also has 1 in a blue, a sacrifice, put a stun counter on up to 1 target tapped creature. Which is not nothing. It's a Wellspring that can activate itself, which is pretty good. The stun counter, it doesn't tap the creature, which is a downside, but it can obviously buy you a lot of time, buy you extra turns, especially against stuff like Terra, where they've got 1 threat. You can just sack this, draw a card, and tap the threat while not being really able to be interacted with, because it's something you've cast much earlier in the game that they haven't countered. And then always getting 2 cards off your Ica Wellspring is good, as we know.
Yep. And then obviously I do think the big pull as well for this is the fact it's leaves as well, similar to Synth.
Yeah, true.
So you get Core Skyfisher, you get Flicker effects. I could see something like Flickertron playing this. And
even if it gets exiled, like with a Deglammer or a Suplex or something, you're still getting the card out of it.
Which is definitely really good. Dust to dust, your Cryogen Relics still draw cards.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think it's interesting as well. Like obviously, the trick with Flickertron, where they've used like Ghostly Flicker on Prisms early on to draw cards, like you can Ghostly Flicker 2 of these and draw 4, which is pretty minging when you think about it, really.
Yeah, it sounds pretty horrible.
But then
instant speed 3 mana draw 4.
Yeah.
And they're still in play, so you can sack them later or flicker them again.
Yep. Obviously got Core Skyfisher Glinthawk, as I mentioned, which is pretty interesting. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any non-red like synth decks, like, blue, white, Esper maybe. Like obviously
not like Skyfisher Glinthawk Shell, but in like white blue, for example.
Because of this card. Obviously it's not 1 mana, so it's not synth level, but It's still pretty interesting. Like Tide and Blade, like Black-White Blades existed, and everything
But
basically costs 2.
I think as well, to be fair, if you are shifting that shell to a different color, it doesn't really matter that it doesn't cost 1 because the whole thing with the Boros thing is you're aggressive, you've got all the burning, so you want it to cost less so you can then play the card you get off it immediately. Where this obviously you're gonna be on a much less aggressive slant, so you have like the time to you actually just cast it and utilize it.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of going to say. Like, you've obviously got that mana constraint with Synth of obviously making sure you can get the value off it. Where this obviously it is just draw a card, which is obviously yeah.
Skyfisher control incoming.
Definitely. But yeah, pretty hyped on this card. I think this card's gonna surprise a lot of people as well, or even overperform for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people have been hyped about this card for sure.
Obviously, it's a lot better than Wellspring, assuming you can play the blue. So does this mean Jund Wildfire is finally just gonna die, and we're just gonna have a blue-red Wildfire deck with this in instead, or blue-red-black Grixis Wildfire?
Do you know what also it could potentially mean? Don't need the black. Perilous Research exists.
Yeah, true. And the fact that it can just sack itself as well, like it's you're not tied to having the sack outlets, like you are with Wellspring. But yeah, you are right. Research is obviously worse than the 2 black ones that C play, like the flashback one and the map one, because you don't get anything out of it. But it's blue.
It's blue in a better color. Yeah. So there could be a world where you could play like a blue-red control deck or whatever, and have it have artifact themes, potentially be a forecast. Not needing dispute or black cards is relevant. It might even go blue-black as well. You never know. Like even in a blue-red control deck, you could flicker this and I don't know, someone else. Phalagi Archaeologist hits artifacts, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Definitely an interesting card. Cool. So do you think Grixis Affinity plays 4 of these before it plays 4 Wellsprings? Like, so say if Grixis Affinity was playing like 6, like playing 4 Wellsprings, 2 Lembas, do you play...
I think it's an awkward one because I don't think it's just a straight swap for Wellspring in that deck. I think it probably goes down the route of playing it because the card is really good.
Yeah.
But I think it changes the deck. Like, it might just be like you say, blue-red, or just go blue-black, or just maybe still be Grixis, but change like the makeup of the colours, so it's a lot heavier on the blue, and like you're always playing 4 Thoughtcast, for example, and then 4 of this.
Yeah, which I definitely could see. I could see, because at the moment is it base black? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy black, and then just splash the other 2, isn't it? Really.
Where you could be heavy blue, splash black for refurb. So
splash the other 2, yeah.
His Crackling really that good anyways, let's be honest. It's overrated. Look at John Wildfire.
No hit.
Anything else to add?
Not massively, I don't think so. I think we've picked some of the top cards, but I also think if we started this again and you were like, oh, pick your cards again, I would probably pick different cards. Like, there is just that much in the set that looks interesting, that looks playable, or that is pushed, like this Cryogen Relic and like the other cards we've talked about. It's definitely going to be one that changes the format a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the good thing that I like about this set as well is even if they don't necessarily like, right, okay, that goes in that deck, it's got to be like, this card could be good. I'm going to have to sit and build whatever I have planned for that, and I'll have to physically test it to find out. Like, it might not have that much impact in the long run, but I actually still think these cards are so close to, like, playable that we will have, like, most cards I'll have to test and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is sweet.
A long Pauper thought of the week this week.
Yeah, very much so. But for that reason, obviously we'd missed a week with me being away. We were going to plan to obviously do the last week's in the showcase as well, but we kind of obviously want to talk about the new set, so we'll just cover this week and just miss last week's, which I'm assuming everyone is fine with. I do have obviously 2 bias shout outs as well before we start. But yeah. Ready to move on?
Yeah, go for it.
Obviously, just a bit of news. There's no real news apart from... Oh, wait, there is news. There is news. There is. I knew there was news. Flag bearer bug has been fixed on Magic Online. It's a really important one. The flag bearer was bugged on Magic Online where any modal card like Thraben Charm or any spliced card like Psychic Puppetry, it basically let you ignore the flag bearer in play. So it obviously wasn't really working as intended. That has now been fixed, and yeah, that works, which is good. Always good that cards work as intended. Flag bearer is now a reasonable hate spell for High Tide. Obviously, all that sort of good stuff. Boom. Finally. I think that was the only news bit. Anyways, more importantly, do not forget to join the Discord. If so, you can obviously join in hot takes. Cardmark has obviously been gracious to give us credit to be part of giveaways, obviously, as well as my creator program play points, which reminds me, I still need to do another one for the Discord. So again, another reason to join. We obviously shouted out last time we were on the winners, and yeah, the draw is going to be the middle of August or late August for the next one, so we can get a good number of people in there. So it is important, obviously, to join the Discord and actively give us hot takes and just generally, just hang out. Hang out. We talk crap about Pauper. We talk crap about Jump Wildfire, and we talk crap about generally anything else. Yeah. Anyways, also onto some tournament news. We will start with, of course, Old Emo Dave's event, Common Clash, August the 9th at Firestorm Games in Cardiff. Win a box for first and an entry to Pauper Nationals if they get at least 32 players. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty exciting event. Firestorm Games is a pretty banging shop, so I do recommend you check that out. And the next one, of course, our friends over the pond, all the way, New York, upstate Pauper Open, the second one in Rochester and in a brewery, August the 9th as well. Check that out in the link in the description. I know Mitch and Callie have been working really hard to push this event. The last one was incredible. The charity event was incredible. And people are in a brewery. I don't know how many times I need to keep saying this because it is pretty awesome.
You're just trying to manifest it.
Yep, I'm just trying to manifest it, for sure. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. Always good to drink and play cards. That is for sure. Anyways, but drink responsibly. Anyways, our last event to shout out is our friends all the way down, not that far really, in Chester, Recollect. They're hosting another Pauper event, August the 16th, £15 entry. First gets a Future Sight foil snuff out. And other prizes based on attendance, of course. So the more people that go, the more banging it goes. And a foil Future Sight snuff out is pretty sweet. Of course. Nice. Really? Yeah, that's pretty much our events, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is more as well. If you join the Discord, I don't know how many times I need to say, in the events to shout out page, you see, where we pick them all from. So you get to keep up with all the great events to follow. And of course, we even have a tab, especially for Kirby, to post all his metadata as well. Look at that. We have a tab for everything. There's even people talking about gyms and stuff. And I know nobody called Jim. But anyways. Moving on to the challenges. We have 2 shout-outs from last week's. Mainly the showcase. Decal21, 17th in the showcase. Playing the greatest deck in Pauper, which is Spy Elves, of course. And then Kirby, obviously, who made a video on Spy Elves as well on the challenge, which came 15th. He didn't just lose his winning, he threw his winning in, but it's all good. It's all good. We forgive you for playing the spiciest deck in the format, of course. And yeah, that's all I've got to shill. I'm just shilling Spy Elves because it's the greatest deck in Pauper, just in case you haven't realised. Yeah, happy to move on to the challenges.
So the Friday challenge, Friday the 18th of July, 58 players. First place was Blue Red Scred.
It's Blue Red Fear. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'll let you do the North this one time.
Sorry, I'm failing. It's Blue Red Fear.
Second place was Jund Wildfire. Third place was Spy Walls. Fourth was Mono Blue Terror. Fifth was Jund Wildfire. Sixth was Green Red Ramp. Seventh was Mono Blue Terror. And eighth was Elves. And then the 2 near misses. Ninth was Red Black Madness. And 10th was Grixis Affinity. I guess given it is blue-red fair, that's probably a good one to start on because it's pretty
Yes.
interesting to see. Um, pretty light, I guess, on the fair theme. It's the what 4C is for spell stutters,
Mm-hmm.
and then 3 Ninja of the Deep Hours and a Singleton Moon Circuit Hacker, just because you may as well split them, I guess.
Mm. Just in case you want
Uh,
turn 2, you never know.
yeah, and then the blue-red Screddy part of it being the 1 Murmuring Mystic, 1 Crimson Fleet Commodore, and 4 Augurs
Mm.
have been retained.
Can we also
Um,
give some disrupt love as well?
yeah, 1 of Disrupt, 1 of Spell Pierce. Um, the numbers in this are just so wild. There's also 1 of Fire Ice, 1 Ponder, only 2 Brainstorms. Just 2 is the correct number of Brainstorms apparently.
I feel like
Um,
these fair decks have always ran like the blue X fair decks have always ran like a weird number of draw spells. It's always been like 2 to 3 brainstorms and then like 1 2 1 of ponder preordain and someone else. Like are always weird, and I never understand why. Never.
yeah, the only 2 Brainstorms is sort of a weird one because you've got the Ponder Preordains to clear it. You've also got the 4 Augurs. It's also got 2 Bountiful Landscapes as well to like fetch.
Hmm.
Maybe that's and it's got the 4 Fairy Seers as well. So you've got a lot of stuff to clear the Brainstorm.
And Lorien as well,
Um,
of course.
and Lorien, yeah, 4 Loriens. So you're pretty stacked on
Hmm.
being able to clear it. So I'm not sure why 2 is the number, but yeah.
Yeah. Seems to
But
work out for them. I'm pretty happy to see blue red as well. Like blue red seems really good, right? Like better color choice than blue black at the moment. Obviously, snuff out's at an all time low. Scred still deals with a lot of problems and goes bigger enough and doesn't cost your life against the aggro decks. Like it just seems like an all round upside for Scred compared to snuff out at the moment. So I'm really hyped to see the fact that it was blue red for sure.
Other than that, like spice wise, there's not too much. The elves list is pretty stock. It's the mono green version.
Hmm.
2 Avenging Hunters in the main is sort of the only thing that's sort of not 100% set, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
4 Pulse of Marassa in the sideboard is an interesting choice.
Anti graveyard hate. I've been got by a Pulse of Marassa or 2 playing Dredging Elves. That's for sure.
But the other deck really that I wanted to focus on is actually the 9th place list, the Madness list, because it's got 4 Black Mages Rod in the main.
Commitment. Love it.
Also 2 Storm Shriek Feral, which I'm not sold on, but 4 Black Mages Rod is very cool.
I believe, don't correct me on this because I didn't really scour that much data, but I'm sure Bath played like some sort of Madness deck, and I don't know if it was mono red or black red, but played Storm Shriek Feral. I think he made a video on it and said he was quite impressed with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's maybe where it's come from. Obviously, having the out to be a 5 mana 3/3 with haste is obviously a bonus, but being a generally worse draw spell, obviously at cost.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. I'm surprised no Galv Blast. I know we don't need it, but you've added 4 more artifacts. You obviously play 4 Vampire's Kiss. Oh, I guess there's no Epicure. It's not Epicure.
No. It's got it for the rods. It's like a more Bernie deck. Bernie. Black red. Bernie Burn.
We are Bernie Burn. Interesting for sure. I don't like. It's strange, right? Because Black Mage Rod seems like a perfect fit for Madness, and I don't hate this. I don't know how I feel about the no Epicure though, but I feel like it's a common theme right now. Is like how good is Epicure in these decks? Like the all Madness decks seems to be a common theme, as we'll see throughout. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's gone pretty max on the other discard outlet / card draw with obviously 4 Lutens, 4 Grab the Prize, but then 2 Highway Robberies, 2 Ferals, and the 4 Kisses as well. So it doesn't really look like it's lacking. And basically all of those do more than Epicure. Like they all either draw more cards or discard more cards or both. And I guess the rods probably make up for the the extra chip damage that Epicure probably would get you. Like it's probably going to get you what 2 to 4 extra damage generally a game, which the rod's probably going to do that by itself. I would guess.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Anything else from this top 10 that you would like to touch on?
I just want to mention the 6th place green-red ramp deck. The deck itself doesn't look too wild. Like, it's not too different compared to like the Pauper lists that we're seeing with Saga Wildling in the deck. But they did have like Cascaders, and it sort of used that sort of tech in the non-Cascade versions, right? So it's like still got Saga Wildling as a reasonable threat, basically. But it's mainly the sideboard I wanted to mention. The sideboard's a bit wild. With 4 Heritage Reclamation in the side. I'm assuming this is from the uptick of Spy Walls, I would guess, as some sort of graveyard hit combined with your Artifact and Enchantment hit. But then it's also got 2 Sazcap's Brew in the deck. And I don't actually know what this is for, but I'm assuming it's for a deck that it's draw for yourself, but you can also make them draw 2 cards. So I don't know if it's for some sort of like high tide, they're about a deck of themselves and they're just about to loop with a streamer thought or something. They go, you draw 2, you lose. I honestly have no idea what else that would be for. It's a bit crazy, really. I don't really see the target creature thing being relevant.
I think all of these sideboard choices are just quite odd. Like the Heritage Reclamations, like basically doesn't really do anything you want against any of the decks you want it against. It's sort of a halfway house for all of them.
Yeah.
And then you're splitting the ram through Horrific Assault like removal in half, I guess, because you're not decided on which one you actually want or which one's better. Then just 1 cast into the fire. Seems like a very odd number to settle on. And then, as you say, the Sazcap Brew just looks like completely out of place. It doesn't really do anything that you want.
Yeah.
At all.
I just don't understand what it's there for. Like, I actually have no idea unless it's
and in the sideboard as well. Makes it even stranger.
So that's what I mean. Like the Sazcap's Brew in the sideboard definitely must be something to do with like they have this in mind for something, but I really don't know what that is. It could just be it wants more draw, right? But if that's the case, there's better draw spells than Sazcap's Brew, right? Surely.
It also has like weird outs where you can give them a fish and then ram through them.
Yeah, that's fair. But what do you want that against?
I don't like. I have no idea. It was just something you can do. Strands decks, maybe. Although you've got Chrysalis and
loads of colour stuff.
Yeah, repurposer, so you're not like that bad against it. I don't know. It's a very odd list. It's also cut a land, right? Do they not normally run 17 lands?
Unsure. I think one of the ones at Pop again ran 16.
I'm guessing the Saga Wildlands. But then obviously there's no Generous End. Like, is Saga Wildland better than Generous End?
I think it's because it gains 3 on the belt. Is probably why.
Alright, okay.
Because you don't have like you want the usually when you play you don't have to crack the food, and obviously having 8 mana is quite a lot to ask for.
Yeah.
Like the body's obviously infinitely worse than Wildling, but I guess Wildling dodges Crackland as well, so you can put a Nyxborn on.
Yeah. So seems it's a very odd looking list. But I feel like green red ramps in the sort of weird place where it has to do like weird stuff now to just keep up. Like we're seeing like the ram throughs in the main and like this weird Oliphant Saga Wildland like package and cutting lands and stuff like that. It's like like makes itself more high rolly, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely how it's like. It obviously has the powerful stuff of like Writhing Chrysalis and Nyxborn that we're used to, but yeah, it's just it. I think people are that used to it now. It struggles to get over the line. So as you say, yeah, it's definitely just they need to get them edges somewhere, and maybe Sazcap's Brews were how it is.
Yeah,
maybe that's the card. If someone in the comment, like someone can comment, either on YouTube because we are back on YouTube as well, just to remind you all. or in the comments on Spotify or whatever, like, please someone tell us exactly the reason why that was in the sideboard. Like, we can come up with ideas, like obviously the fish we'd ram through, which probably doesn't come up, or the draw
it's
spells.
stupid.
Do you know what I mean? Like all this stuff, like, but that doesn't seem like an actual like target draws to. I guess maybe in a like as heritage reclamations there. I don't know.
I feel like both of them are just like a bit stupid, to be honest. Because High Tide now as well, like as people are building it, you never really deck yourself.
No.
You don't need to. Like you can loop easily without decking yourself. So, like, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's so when they deck you, you can draw 2 cards and kill yourself.
What?
Maybe that's what it's there for.
Yeah, very very odd list.
For sure. Happy to move on to Saturday now after that strange discussion.
Yeah, so Saturday the 19th, 56 players. First place was Mono Red Synth, but they took out some synths. Second place, Jund Wildfire. Third was Mono Blue Terror. Fourth was Rally Red. Fifth was actual Mono Red Synth. Sixth was Mono Blue Terror. Seventh was Green Red Ramp. And eighth was Spy Walls. And then the 2 near misses, Mono Blue Fair and Elves in 9th and 10th, respectively. I guess sort of a less diverse top 8 than what we're used to at the moment. It seems very just like Mono Blue, Mono Red, slanted. And not really that much standing out. Like the first place list is basically it's Mono Red Synth, but it's cut 2 synths and 2 Galv Blasts to go up to the full 8 Reckless Impulses. Other than that, it's basically just stock Mono Red Synth. It's like an interesting sort of change to make because it is sort of slanting itself more towards that like Pinger Burn package, but then still just runs like Percussionist, Tomb Raider, Epicure, so and 2 synths. So yeah, very very much a halfway house, but obviously came out with first, so
I guess
must have worked.
I guess
to
a
some
strange
extent.
one, right? Like obviously other decks are cutting Epicures, right? Like some Madness decks are cutting Epicure, some of the Rakdos Madness decks are cutting Epicure, like as we spoke about before. Obviously without Kuldotha, the synth is usually just flip 1 card, then in the late game when you've got nothing to do, you can flip another card. Maybe it's just worthwhile these decks, as this is done here, to basically go raw on the 2-mana draw 2s, and maybe synth is like obviously it's there more as a Galv Blast enabler more than a synth like
but they've cut Galv Blast.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not saying that, but that's what I'm saying. If you've cut Galv Blast, then you kind of like cutting synth as well because you're not drawing as many cards with synth anymore.
I think for the most part, you still need that high artifact count though for Tomb Raider. Like if you want to play Tomb Raider, you just need a high artifact count. If you're going down the route of I'll just cut the synths, and then even if you're like virgin on cutting the Epicures as well, you've got like 8 artifacts in your deck. Even with the Epicures, you've only got 12, so these Tomb Raiders are then looking pretty suspect. I think in this, to be honest, they even look a bit suspect with 14 artifacts. Yeah, but yeah, interesting. Obviously, the card advantage that you get off the impulses and the Rens Resolves is really good. Like when those cards were printed, we seen basically all the red decks just played 8 of them immediately. So interesting to see a non, or not just like straight up Pinger Burn, I guess, playing the full 8 again.
Yeah, I think it's interesting though. I feel like this players either not decided what to cut or has actually put thought into and reevaluated synth as a whole. But as you say, like it does get awkward with Tomb Raider. But maybe you've just got to high roll that card. I don't know. It's odd.
I guess sort of building on your thought process there. The 4th place Rally Red only plays 3 Simps as well, so they're also cutting on Simps. I think for like an end or something, like there's not really a standout of what it's been cut for, but yeah, cut into 3.
Players with what? Oh my god, that is awesome! Have you seen the sideboard Flash of Defiance?
Yeah, it's a pretty old one.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome card. I like it.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's basically a 2-mana. It's the red Deep Analysis.
Yeah.
So it's 2 mana sorcery. Players can't block with green and or white creatures this turn, and you can flash it back for the same as Acorn Harvest Deep Analysis for 1 red and 3 life.
Interesting. White Weenie and elves be crying.
Mm.
That's
And
a pretty
Boggles.
and bugs. Yeah.
If you're ahead enough to
Yeah.
need to just get that last point of damage, last few points of damage through, you can cast this. You can also obviously discard it to Epicures and then still flash it back, or you can use it twice. Yeah,
That's
it's a pretty cool one.
Pretty sweet.
Other than that, it sort of looks just like what's becoming a stock rally red list. Like the Ginger Brute seems to have caught on quite a lot from, I believe, Pauper again is where we really noticed it. Obviously not a 4 of, but it's just sort of a nice, reasonably static guy for this deck that you can use the green off Burning Tree to actually do something other than cast more Burning Trees.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sweet. It's good. Like obviously, it just does a lot with the green. It's an artifact. It generally is a 1/1 with haste. Always a good thing. With obviously more of them with Percussionists and Tomb Raiders. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan of Ginger Brute in this deck.
I really need to give Rally another go. Like I tried it initially when Kuldotha first got banned and just, I guess, didn't really click with it. But I think it's worth giving a go again.
I think you're probably just coming off the Cold Author high, and then you're playing like, this is not Cold Author, and you're like, no. But here we are. You get to play Flash of Defiance now, though. Look at that. What a card.
The only other standout for me that I particularly want to mention was the 6th place Mono Blue Terror has 4 force spikes in the main, which is something we haven't seen for quite a while. It's also got 3 Deep Analysis. So just some pretty funky numbers going on in the spell slot, which we don't normally see. 1 Murmur Mystic in the main as a creature, and basically the cost of fitting extra Deep Analysis, extra Murmur Mystic. There's an extra Ponder as well as 4 Ponders rather than the usual 3. It doesn't play any Delvers.
Crazy.
It's just fully. I am playing Terra. Delver does not do anything. It is not a multiple of 5, therefore I will not play it.
Crazy. Like every time I see Mono Blue Terror, it's basically just Mono Blue Delver with Terrors in. It just feels like a Delver deck. And here this player's just decided to.
Our opponent.
Our opponent.
Poor guy.
He's our opponent from the get go. But yeah, this player basically decided to not do that, which is very odd.
I think it's quite interesting to see some Mono Blue Terror list that is noticeably different though. Like we've basically been on the same like Discover list basically for months and months now. It's cool to see someone do well with something that is significantly different. Like even Luminati's just been playing like Discover Ends list. So yeah, it's a sweet one. Although I don't know where it gets grouped now though, because I feel like in a lot of like stats, like Pauper stats, Mono Blue Terror is just labeled as Mono Blue Delver, and Mono Blue Aggro is what Mono Blue Fair. Yeah. So what is it? What is this? Does Mono Blue Terror finally get its own category, and it's just this one list?
This is Mono Blue Force Spike. This one.
Yeah. Other than that, like there's nothing particularly out of the normal on card choices. It's just the numbers are all a bit skewy. And then again in the sideboard, the numbers are sort of pretty different to what you'd expect. There's a full 4 dispels, obviously because there's none in the main, so they're all just in the board. There's also 4 steel sabotages and 0 annuls, so they do not care about Boggles at all.
I think to be fair, steel sabotage is an interesting one right now, right? Obviously for like Jund Wildfire as well. Being able to like keep the lands down, like bouncing the lands in response to wildfire, as well as obviously hitting normal artifact stuff.
Yeah, against the like wildfire decks, the boomerang. If you're on the play, the boomerang their land was always like a pretty strong play. Usually, if you'd played a turn 1 Delver, that is, I guess. But yeah, you can sort of relate back to that pattern of you've now got boomerang for their lands and just try and slow them down a bit.
Yeah. No gut shots in the side.
No.
definitely an interesting one as well. Obviously, discovering sort of like up those because of elves. But not here. Decided to fight against the wildfire and the affinity players. But sick of losing at Luffy, maybe.
Any other lists you want to touch on from this one?
Just to mention the 7th place green red again. Decides to have a normal sideboard this time. It's fairly normal as you can get for green red. Still got a 1 Ent, 1 Sagu, back to 17 lands, and put a pulse in the deck instead of a ram through. And yeah, then got 3 ram throughs in the side, 2 relics, a life goes on, which is a pretty sweet one, along with 4 weather the storms, and then 3 casting the fire. 3 casting the fires, and 2 rebs. Pretty interesting, pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, they've cut the Oliphant as well. Like, they've just got the 2 land searches with a 1 Ent, 1 wildling, rather than the previous one, which was 2 wildlings and an Oliphant. So there's only like the Sagu, and then naturally drawing the 2 mountains is if you want to find a mountain, I guess. So
you've got Avenger Hunter as well.
Oh yeah. I suppose like you've got Hunter, but you're pretty reliant on your treasures and your Utopia Sprawls for casting your early Riven Chrysalis.
Yeah, definitely. I always was once like Oliphant was like the tech to put as a land cycle. I always preferred it to End. Like obviously it's a worse body than End. Like if you're casting it, obviously, but being able to reliably find the mountain is pretty good.
Yeah, I also think it just attacks much better than all the other guys as well, though.
Yeah, for sure.
If you are casting it.
Given Riven Chrysalis Trample is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. Happy to move on?
Yes.
So the Sunday, the 20th of June, 75 players. So Sunday challenges still going strong. Still just 32 challenges, but still more than 64 players basically every week. First place was High Tide. Second place was Jund Wildfire. Third and fourth place were both Mono Red Madness. Fifth was Mono Red Synth. Sixth was Spy Walls. Seventh was High Tide, and eighth was Mono Green Infect. And then the 2 near misses. Ninth was White Weenie Heroic, out of nowhere. And 10th was Mono Blue Terror. Definitely saved the spiciest challenge to last. I guess starting with something that initially might not sound as spicy, but sort of is. The 4th place Adapto's Mono Red Madness list. I guess, yeah, going off what you were saying before, no Epicures in this deck.
Yep, and went up to even more draw spells, right? Ran 4 Sazcaps Brew, more 2 mana draw spells, I guess I should say.
Yeah, so there's no Lutons, there's just the 4 grabs, 4 robberies, and then 4 of the Sazcaps Brew as the draw discard spells. And then basically the Epicure has filled the slots of 2 extra lands, an extra Gutter Snipe, and an extra Fire Blast. So full 4 Gutter Snipe, 4 Fire Blast. So basically just maxed on impactful spells and 2 mana draw 2s.
Yeah. Pretty interesting, because I think, to be fair, like, the deck loses whenever you get flooded or screwed, basically, and it's kind of like really weird mana problems, but 20 lands, you're pretty much going to hit your land drops, and you've got 12 discard draw spells. Like, Grab the Prize is the only one you really don't want to discard a land to. Obviously, you want to hit that 2 damage, but Highway Robbery and Brew, you don't really care. Like,
yeah, I guess notably, though, you're losing the Epicure, which is like you can discard lands too late as well. So although you've sort of got, because you've swapped the Luton for the Sazcaps, so you've got a bit more like actual advantage or like replacement cards rather than just like negative on cards. You are losing the Epicure, so you'd lose a bit more of that like churning through your deck.
Yeah.
But obviously you're going up on Gutter Snipes and Fire Blast, so you can probably chain a kill together a bit easier. Sazcaps Brew as well, like the +2/+0, although it's not the best in this deck. +2/+0 on Snacker is pretty legit. Like hitting for 4 with a Snacker is a lot of their life total to lose in a deck that can basically kill you out of nowhere.
And that's not even counting the fact that it discards something relevant or triggers a Flame Breather or a Gutter Snipe either. So that's That's just like the extra mode that you can occasionally use. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet, for sure. I also do like the sideboard of 4 Fairy Macabres. No Serum Blaze, but 4 Fairy Macabres, because, you know, Spy Walls is everywhere. Just does not want to lose.
Yeah, to be fair, the sideboard's a bit of a weird one compared to what we have normally seen. As you say, the 4 Fairy Macabres, still stacked on the blasts, so 4 Pyroblasts, 4 Red Elemental Blasts, but yeah, then 3 Electricries. So losing out on Serum Blaze and Smash to Smithereens, but trying to, I guess, solidify stuff like Dredge. It's sort of fine against Terra Fairy Macabre. And then the fair matchup with the Electricry, or Elves, I guess, but Elves is basically free anyway.
Potentially, I don't know, Fairies and obviously Rally Red to an extent as well, I guess. But I also think the interesting thing is with the Fairy Macabre, like, to me, the Smash to Smithereens, you kind of just really wanted it for, like, Ultratron was the only deck that sort of had that, but then you've also still got Fairy Macabre anyways. Like, you can't obviously hit Ashnod's Altar or anything, but you can stop them comboing. So it's not the end of the world. Like, you don't lose too much, I don't think.
I guess, is there what's the upside to Macabre over something like Tormod Script? Obviously, Tormod Script's going to hit stuff like Dredge and Terra a lot harder. But obviously it's a lot, like, it's more easy to play around, I guess.
It's
I think also it triggers your Flame Breather. It doesn't trigger God Snipe, but it triggers Flame Breather.
I think it's more the like Mass Vandal side of things, right? I would guess would be from Spy.
Yeah, true, yeah.
You're kind of forcing them to board in Mezfiend, which they kind of don't really want to do with Macabre.
Yeah, especially if you can just Lava Dart it and get your Macabre back. Yeah, fair. To be fair, it seems like a pretty good choice at the moment because everyone seems to be on Spy something. Spy Walls, Spy Elves, Spy, Spy Terror.
Do you know what we need?
No, we haven't seen Spy Terror yet.
Spy Slivers. That's what we need.
Spy Slivers. The deck that needs loads of creatures. You can fit more creatures in because you took all your lands out.
What? Cooking. But yeah, pretty sweet.
Speaking of Spy, there's a 6-player Spy Walls.
Decide to cut land.
4 Lotus Petals. Seems like a bit of a standout in this. Like, I don't normally see Lotus Petals from the Spy Walls. Obviously, on 4 lands as well, rather than, is it 5 normally?
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Like, they've got more Waller Roots as well. Cut down on Quirion Ranger as well. Pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting list that they've took. Like, they've got Rumbles in there, cut a land, got more Waller Roots, cut Quirion Ranger. They have added 4 Lotus Petals as well. And
from the ones I've seen as well, they've not just cut a land but changed the lands, because the ones I've previously seen were 4 forests and a swamp, where this is just 2/2 split.
Interesting.
But does it run? It doesn't.
Oh, they don't run Farsight. Right?
It doesn't run Axebane.
Oh. That is interesting.
I was going to say, is there a reason we need more black mana? Because we've cut one of the... Wait. I was going to say, is it cut Ceruli Caretaker? But it hasn't. It's cut Axebane.
That is interesting.
So it's walls without Axebane. But then just has loads of... more ways to find Spy with, Rumbles and stuff like that.
I guess that's interesting, right? Because, you've got... Your black mana sort of went up anyways, because your petals and your swamps, in that sense.
Yeah.
But obviously the battlements and the Axebanes are obviously your mana producers. But I guess the Walls Spy can sort of just go, I'll kill your Axebane, strangle you on black. Where the Overgrown battlement's harder to kill and more likely to survive anyways. Because it's just for mana. There's no combo potential with Walls. So maybe the idea is I'll take out a target.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm all
I guess it's, it feels more Spy, less Walls, I guess, now.
Yeah.
It's definitely a very tweaked version of that deck. Obviously, cutting the Quirion Rangers makes more sense when you have less guys that you
Yeah.
that you're bothered about untapping.
Mm.
Um,
Very interesting take on it for sure. Sweet to see. Can we shout out ICT 95 is back?
Yeah, on the 8th place, Monogreen Infect, keeping the deck alive.
Yep. Decided to play like Terror and stuff like that in like showcases and bigger Pauper events, but is back now. Back with a vengeance, playing some Mono Green Infect, going forth and tearing down challenges.
I think his list slightly changed, right? It's gone up on a Vines and cut the proliferate search for a land Thurston route
Yeah, because it ran like a
from the
1-of,
main.
right?
Yeah. So other than that, the main's basically the same because it's basically 4 of all the good cards and then 3 flex slots and 17 lands. And then the sideboard, I think, has changed quite a bit from memory. It's now got 3 gut shots, sort of going on that terror tech of beating elves, I guess, or fear. Fear is probably more relevant in this instance, like sniping spell stutters and stuff like that. On the sort of same vein, there's 2 scatter shots as well. And then Tormod's Crypt, I don't believe was in the last list I seen them play, but makes a lot of sense at the moment with all the spies and terror and Ultratron and graveyard shenanigans.
Yep, very much
Great.
so. Also, on another note, did you ever think you'd describe Goforth as 4 of the good cards? Just to clarify, just to throw that out there.
Probably not, but in this deck it does a lot of work.
Yeah, it definitely does. I was definitely impressed with it, for sure, when I played this deck. Yeah, sweet.
And then sort of the final spicy standout for me is the just under ICT in 9th, the Mono White Heroic, just resurrected from the dead. Obviously it's this new sort of take on Heroic where it doesn't play any other Heroic guys other than the Laguna banned Trailblazer. So it's Sky Guard is gone, and stuff like Vault Scourge and stuff like that he used to play is gone as well. So it's super tight on creatures with just 4 Trailblazer, 4 Armored Armadillo, and then 3 Deathblade Elites. A big stack of white enchantments, and then 4 Blacksmith Skillers, a bit of interaction.
Not running the protection rebound spell.
No, literally, just 4 Blacksmith.
I can't remember the name of the card, but it's like tag creature against protection rebound. Emergence Scathed. Yeah. Right? But can we formally apologise to various people who said this card was good and would see play? But in our defence, we said it would not be better than Sentinel's Eyes, and that is 4 light wheel enhancements, which is enchant creature or vehicle for a white. Start your engines, enchant creature has +1/+1 and vigilance, and then max speed. You can cast this from your graveyard. We said this would not be better than Sentinel's Eyes because Sentinel's Eyes basically does the same, doesn't need to go through the speed effect and escapes.
And it's much better.
And is much better in every single way. But they are running 4 light wheel enhancements only because they're already playing 4 Sentinel's Eyes, to be fair. And the reason they're putting max on vigilance effects is because they're playing 4 solid footing, which is a flash enchantment that gives a creature +1/+1, and then as long as it has vigilance, it basically is it Doran the Siege Tower or whatever the effect's called, deals damage equal to its toughness rather than its power,
which works quite well when your 2 main guys are all 4s.
Deals an extra 3 damage just off the get go. Look at that. Well, 4 extra damage actually.
It also like keeps this deck super tight and low to the ground. Like other than 4 Benevolent Blessings and 3 Nimbus Wings, everything costs 1 in the entire deck, and then obviously you've got your Armadillo to pay your mana into later. It's sweet to see the deck back, to be honest. I'm not convinced Light Wheel Enhancements is playable, even in this, even with all those reasons. Just play 2 mana 1, it's better.
Is there a 2 mana 1?
I don't know. There's more enchantments that this could have played, but obviously it's focused on the 1 mana ones.
I just don't know if there is I don't even know if is there another one that like is fairly reasonable that gives vigilance. I actually don't know. I've not looked at white enchantments. I imagine there is.
I guess if you want the vigilance, you might be a bit lower, but
yeah. That's the
There's
thing. I
definitely
think it's vigilance.
a lot more enchantments that heroics played in the past.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it's
Um,
the vigilance thing that's important. I don't think the actual max speed
yeah,
thing's that important or the casting from graveyard. But yeah, I think
but
vigilance
you'll
seems
never do
good.
it. You'll kill them before that's active.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, pretty sweet to
uh,
see.
Sideboard wise, it's again pretty interesting if you haven't looked at heroic in a while. 3 Dusk Rider Falcon, which is the free wind falcon, but has protection from black.
Hmm.
So obviously black removal is a lot more relevant against your O4s than Lightning Bolt.
Hmm.
2 Mask of Law and Grace just to sort of double up on that effect. 2 Spirit Links, because in the main it actually has 1 life link and 1 Spirit Link as the only ways to
Yep.
gain life.
Yep.
So just getting a few more ways to gain life. Couple of Fairy Macabres, again, the card is very good at the moment with all the spy stuff that is happening. And then 3 Standard Bearers, which is now playable, and 3 Thraben Charms as well, just to have a bit of versatility with removal, enchantment disruption, graveyard hit, etc.
Yeah, pretty sweet. Always makes me happy seeing Mask of Law and Grace, even though I usually play black or red, and also I'm trying to kill these things with, Bogles or whatever, and or these sort of decks. I'm just crying because they play this card, but still, always nice to see this card.
That art always weirds me out a bit because I feel like the round bit that is his shoulder should actually be his head, and it just looks like Mysterio. But then I realized the white thing that I always thought was his arm is actually his head.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, it's not top down; it's like side on. It's a very weird art.
See,
Just as a tangent.
I thought it was like you, and it was like sort of like Batman down, like the
Yeah,
heads
yeah.
of 2 arms, and like the white thing was maybe its shield or something.
No,
Like
it's
in
his
its
mask.
arm, but it's a mask.
Makes sense, honest.
Yeah, it makes sure. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. Anything else to add? Speaking of Illuminati, it was intent, by the way.
Yeah, just playing a pretty stock Discover End style terror list. I think it is actually just Discover End's list, to be honest.
Most likely.
I guess just a shout out to Weber in 11th on
Oh yeah.
the list with the 2 simps that we discussed before. Must have thought it's worth testing. Obviously, he plays quite a lot of red aggro decks. So to play the one that won on the Friday makes a lot of sense.
Changed a card in the sideboard. I don't know about the rest of the main, but I noticed there was 4 suplexes on Friday. There's only 3 this time.
Yeah, I think did the sideboard. Sorry, it wasn't Friday, was it? It was Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, basically swapped a cast into fire and a suplex. So it went from 4 suplex, 3 casts to 4 casts, 3 suplex. But otherwise, just the exact same with the 2 simps, the 2 Gal Blast, the 3 darts, and the full 8 impulse effects. So yeah, back to back, pretty decent results for that list because obviously the win on the Saturday and then 11th in a 75 player challenge.
Yeah.
Obviously, just missing out on tiebreakers is pretty big.
Very much so. Sweet to see. Always sweet to see Weber playing. Anything else to add?
No, I'm happy to move on to hot takes from 2 weeks ago, I guess.
So that we didn't have any listener hot takes because the timing on it, basically, because we covered Pauper again and then that was it. So we're just obviously gonna talk about our own hot takes. If you want to fire away.
Yeah. My first one was that High Tide would not be banned and will be taken off trial at the next announcement. Obviously, it hasn't been banned yet. We haven't had a next announcement yet though. So we'll sticky note that
one. Mine was that Colgate will make a resurgence in challenges following the win. I think it did well like last week in the showcase. I think there was like 1 or something that did quite well, but none this week for sure.
It's such a weird one, Colgate, because it seems to just never be there. One person will do really well with it and win, and then it's still just never there.
No. I think it's a deck that just nobody likes to play. Like, obviously, there's certain people do like to... Like, I just thought... Which I always find it weird, right? Because, like, Colgate's player patterns are pretty meh. But it's, like, a fine deck. Like, it's a pretty well positioned deck. There's no like land destruction. It's got like Prismatic Strands is really good right now. Like Life Gain's good right now, but nobody wants to play it. But then people will just sit there and play Jund Wildfire instead. Not hating, honest, but play Corgate instead. It's a better position deck. You will close out games. Yeah.
And not draw with all the other Jund Wildfire players.
Rant over.
Hot takes for next week. We have some listener ones. The first of which is again on Corgates. That Corgates will not top 8 any challenges next week from Dacius Terror. Must be
a Jund Wildfire lover. And the next one is, we'll sort of keep an eye on because it's not next week, it's out, it's a week after for Edges of Eternity, right? Is that Esper Flicker will top 8 within a month of the Edge of Eternities release, and that is by C-Pain.
Yeah, could be interesting. Obviously, it gets, like, as you were saying, the new Ica Wellspring that you can Ghostly Flicker is a pretty big addition to something like that. It would be really cool if a new archetype is made from that.
And then they're going to add black for Refurb Familiar, because that's obviously great to Ghostly Flicker as well. So,
yeah.
There we go.
Oh, Ghostly Flicker 2 refurbs in your upkeep.
What? Monwell King coming.
And then my hot take for next week is just bagging on Jund Wildfire. We'll see the 3 top 8s next week will not have a copy of Jund Wildfire in. Yeah, because we all don't like that deck.
We were so close as well last week. Last week had 1 on the Friday and a win, and that was it. Didn't have any in the showcase. Didn't have any. I had the 1 on the Friday, none on Saturday, none on Sunday.
It's fine. We're making up for it next week. Don't worry.
Sweet. And mine is obviously carrying on with the love for the best deck in the format, of course. Is that Spy Elves will take over Wall's Spy popularity next week. We'll obviously prove them wrong because someone will win a challenge on Friday with it, and then that's it. It'll overtake. That's the plan.
It would be cool to see more of it do well. Obviously, we had those good results last week. Yeah, we've seen the Spy Walls like developed this week with that 4-land list. It would be cool to see some more takes on Spy Elves doing well.
For sure. Deck is sweet. Anything else to add?
No, that's it from me. Nice to be back.
Very good to be back. It's too warm. Too warm where I was, that's for sure. It's nice and cold here. Sort of. Not really. Anyways, guys, thank you all for the continued support. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please do not forget to share it with your friends, your family, your local Pauper community, and even Passport Control. That is all from us at Casting Commons. Until next time, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Peace!
Bye.